Okay, stop what you're doing because I already know that you want to learn to crochet. I'm obsessed with that and let's be best friends. But as your bestie, I want to tell you the yarns that you should not be using as a crochet beginner. And I want to do a little disclaimer here. I love yarn. Like, I'm obsessed with yarn. The yarns that I'm telling you not to use, I still love them. So this is just a disclaimer that these aren't the yarns that I'm hating on. Just don't use them if you're a crochet beginner. Let's go. Okay, first up, furry yarn. Fur yarn is so luscious and soft and really fun if you want to make some cool stuff. I'm going to link below a cool pattern that I have because I made a rug out of this yarn in the pink color. I do love this yarn, but if you are a crochet beginner, there are many reasons why you should not be using faux fur yarn.
The second you start to crochet with faux fur yarn, it is super soft, of course, but you can't see anything. You can't see your stitches, you can't see your chains, your single crochets, your double crochets. When you're first starting to crochet, that's the point. You want to be able to see your stitches, see what they look like. And once you get used to crocheting, you're going to know when there is a double crochet, when there is a single crochet. You're going to see what it looks like and you're going to be able to look at that stitch and know what it is. And you're going to see as it works up with faux fur yarn, you're not able to see any of the stitches at all. It's even hard to insert your hook into some of the stitches. Let's see that again. Exactly. Look at that. I'm feeling for my stitches and I'm trying to put my hook and find the stitch. It's extremely hard for crochet beginners and I would suggest not to do this. Even when you feel like you've done something and you look at it, you can't even see where they are. Like, where are they? It's impossible to see.
Okay, next up, fingering weight yarn.
No.
You should not be using fingering weight yarn as a crochet beginner, and I'm going to tell you why.
First of all, you're using a tiny hook. This is a 4mm. I wouldn't suggest using a small hook ever if you're a crochet beginner. You are learning how to hold your hook and hold your yarn. So it's important for you to understand how to do that. And if you're doing it with a small size, it's just going to make it harder. And please don't ever touch lace weight yarn. That is even thinner than this. It's like a weight 0 or a 1. A fingering weight is usually a 2 or a 3. These are just way too thin and the hook is way too small for crochet beginners. Again, you're learning how to hold your yarn and your hook at the same time. You're trying to get comfortable with your stitches. It's a lot harder to do with a small mini size swatch and small mini size hook. I've been crocheting for about 11-12 years and I don't remember using this size of a hook this small until I was like 4 or 5 years in. I just wasn't comfortable. And you may get more comfortable quicker than I did, and that's great because you may want to work with thin yarn and smaller hooks to do specific projects. I just really would not suggest it if you're a crochet beginner and you are just learning stitches, and having to hold your hook and your yarn is just really hard to do when it's a tiny swatch. Really hard.
Here's another one. Dark colored yarn. I'm going to tell you exactly why you should not be using this.
Okay, dark colored yarn. I do a lot of filming crochet tutorials and yarn crafts, and I had to film this right before I recorded this video because I had none. I don't like doing tutorials and videos with dark colored yarn. It's hard for a viewer to see the stitches and see the pattern when it's a really dark yarn. So again, the same idea with faux fur stitches, but faux fur is way worse. But dark colored yarn is hard to see where everything is and how everything looks. And I'm going to go back to the fact that you're trying to see how your stitches look. You're going to know and I'd be able to identify what a single crochet looks like and a double crochet. And you're not going to really be able to see it if it's dark colored. You can't even see really what those stitches are. You can feel for it and you can kind of see it, but you can't really. But if you use a bright colored yarn, like look at this, these are what I do my tutorials on. It's just so much easier for you to see where the stitches are, what they look like. Here's another pattern that I used in beautiful rust orange color, and this is so easy to see. This is a perfect beginner pattern. I'll link it below. It's my Ghost with the Most blanket, and this is such an easy way for you to learn what stitches look like and see them.
Okay, all that negative talk, do not use this, do not use that. You are starting crochet today. I want to tell you exactly what you should be using as a crochet beginner.
right after you watch this, you're going to go to the store or you're going to go online and you're going to order yourself a 15mm hook and some chunky yarn, because that is what you're going to do to learn how to crochet. I promise you, this is the best way to do it. You're going to figure out how to hold your hook. You're going to figure out how to hold your yarn, and you're going to be able to see every single stitch that you are working. I want you to practice your single crochets, your double crochets, your half double crochets. Those are perfect beginner stitches, and you're going to see them and be able to understand what they look like and how easy it is to crochet by using a jumbo size. I promise you, this is exactly what you need, because starting something new is frustrating, and you may get frustrated because you're a beginner and you may give up. And I've had a ton of people that have done this and they're frustrated off the top and they just forget about it. I need you to push through, because it is such an amazing, wonderful hobby. I am completely addicted, and I would love to pass this addiction on to you, because it has changed my life. I love crocheting. It's so calming and relaxing and creative, and I love it so much. So stick with me. I promise. 15mm hook and get some chunky yarn, and you will be addicted to crocheting. It is going to make things a lot easier for you. Start with a pattern that is either a rectangle or a square, do a scarf or a blanket or a headband, something really easy so that you can figure out how to turn and how to chain and how to do simple stitches. And I promise you will fall in love with crochet. Please, please don't give up. Here is the pattern that I was talking about earlier with my faux fur yarn. I made a gorgeous rug with the pink color in this faux fur yarn. I'll link the yarn below when you're ready. Please, this pattern is so easy. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more yarn crafts, yarn tips, crochet tutorials, so many things. And all my patterns are always free. Always. othcrochetnook.ca.